Well, ladies and gentlemen, so welcome to our brand new series of planets through ascendants. And today we're going to be covering Sun in the first house for Aquarius ascendant people. And what happens when Sun is in the first house, in the sign of Aquarius, while ruling the seventh house with the sign of Leo. Okay? And this is different from my Sun through house and Sun through sign series because now we're combining the two energies together. Okay? And as always, if you do not know, if you have the Sun, where it's placed, what sign it's in, what nakshatra it's in, all the astrological details, for that, check out the links here. Check out my full astrological report, including my books, Astrology Conjunction Aspects, and Mahadashit of the Spirit of Light, including my consultation at this link. Yeah! So, Sun in the first house in Aquarius. Now, Aquarius is a sign ruled by Saturn, which is known as the arch enemy of the Sun. So naturally we know that Sun is not welcome in the sign of Aquarius. So what is happening here? And Sun actually rules the seventh house of marriage, business, partnership, career, mass fame. And first house is you, who you are, your karmas, your execution of karmas, your physical body. So the first thing we see here, because Sun in the first house, okay, so let's take a little step back here. Sun in the first house, first of all, give great personality, somebody who has a great balanced ego, somebody who is able to take a leadership position in their life, somebody who becomes an individual, because a king is an individual. You do not know king with anybody else. You relate to king as the king. If somebody's a cabinet member, they're like, oh yeah, they're part of this parliament. They're part of this cabinet, okay? So Sun definitely brings out a very bright personality. Usually a person will have like an orangish complexion, honey-colored eyes. They will have bushy eyebrows, perhaps even a receding hairline or bald head if they're male. Female will be short in height. Female will have a very strong bone structure. Like they could be skinny, but you're like, my God, you have like, you can feel that they have very strong, thick bones in them. But what happens with this particular Sun is that first of all, a person naturally first of all, they are the type of person who is going to be forced to share their power with other people. As much as they want to be individual, they will not be. They will have to be able to find their strength through other people. Why? Because Aquarius is the original 11th house of committee, of large group setting, of social settings, collective consciousness. But Sun says, look, I am the collective consciousness. I am everything. But now you're telling the Sun, the only way you can give your brightness now to us is if you have support of other suns around you. So what happens? Sun's light is automatically dimmed. And now Sun is looking to power up itself through other suns. And because Sun represents our morals, Sun represents the good qualities on us, the pure sattvic qualities within us. While now Sun is sitting in a tamasic sign of Aquarius. So here the nature can become wicked of the person. Now, what does wicked means 5,000 years ago compared to 2018? It may not be much, but definitely shows that a person will date multiple people. One can, have multiple sexual relationships before even get married or maybe after they get married. Because see, right now I'm just looking at the Sun. We don't know who's conjunct the Sun, who's aspecting the Sun, who's aspecting your seventh house. Such people may have a tendency to spy on other people, stalk something. Some people may be, very good in communication, mass communication, singing. Some people will naturally have this attraction towards the unusual world, depending upon how Sun is placed. They may have natural interest towards aliens, UFOs. And so they lose their individual self amongst these other worldly things. They don't know themselves themselves, they know themselves through other things, other people. And especially because now the 7th Lord is in the ascendant, it shows that a person will hugely be influenced through their spouse. They will not be able to feel complete without their spouse, without the counterpart, without other people. So remember, 7th house is other things, other people, because it's the mirror image of the 1st house. So because the 7th Lord is now coming up to you, shows yourself will be seen through the other person. So this is where Sun kind of loses his power. Sun is saying that I can no longer give the brightness to the world unless I have support of the moon, unless I have support of Jupiter, unless I have support of 2 other suns who come behind me and then power me. So their empowerment comes through other people, through their spouse. Now, can this be a bad thing or good thing? It has nothing to do with bad or good. Placement of the sun. Some people can become CEOs, CFOs, and great leaders in the world with Sun in Aquarius. Like if you look at Steve Jobs. Sun in the sign of Aquarius, but directly opposite in the 7th house. So he was a CEO, chairman of Apple. However, he could not do it without Steve Wozniak. And he needed the help of this other investor. I forgot the name of that person. But if you read, a story of Apple or Steve Jobs, you will understand that without Steve Wozniak and this one investor they got early on, Steve Jobs may have been selling real estate for what we know. He could have been a monk by now. And for him to handle things on his own got him always in trouble. His ego came out. Why? Because his sun is not in the greatest position. So when sun is in Aquarius, your ego starts to burst out in a way where people look at you as this complete evil. Rakshasa. And if you think Steve Jobs was some saintly person, you are completely wrong. Many people hated him. Many people hated his guts. They're like, this guy does not know how to communicate with the employees, does not know how to communicate with the world. So they have to work really hard at presenting themselves as a leader, because other people will question their leadership constantly. They will point fingers at you. Are you a leader? Do you really know what you're doing? And this also shows that your spouse will control you. Your spouse will be the real sun in your life. So if you are trying to show up as a leader, well, guess what? There's another leader in front of you. That's your spouse. That's the queen. That's the king. So if you're a female with this, your male spouse will control you. If you're a male, your wife will control you. And this also goes for gays or lesbians. Your counterpart, whoever you get into a relationship, will be the one controlling you. And also with this Aquarius placement, shows that such people can have a spouse who might be a twin, might be. Like there could be a theme of twins playing out, depending upon how the sun is placed by the degrees. Okay. So guys, this was my analysis of sun in the ascendant in the sign of Aquarius. If you're new to my channel, subscribe below. And if you want to know where your sun is placed, all the other astrological details, my books, reports, consultation, for that check out the links here. Otherwise, we'll see you later. Bye-bye.